How are you guys? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It depends on where you're watching us from. Yeah. In today's video, I'd like us to discuss about the trending issue of AlBERT Ojwang. You all know AlBERT Ojwang. He was a teacher but not employed by TSC. People went to his home because he had posted something on the X account, and that something on the X account, we don't see it. No one can trace it because it was later deleted. He's handled on YouTube, TikTok, X was deleted, formerly known as Twitter. It was deleted, and whatever we are asking ourselves is, who really deleted them? Yeah. So this video is all about Ojwang's story. I'd like us to engage. Please feel free to share, subscribe, comment, and always hit the notification button so that you are informed when we upload a new video. So AlBERT Ojwang, I think he's a father of one. He was newly married to a certain lady. So Ojwang posted something on the X account that was targeting Eliud Lagat, that he is so corrupt that in a month he makes millions of money, through the collection of, you see, the money that police usually collect on the street or on the road, it usually goes to Lagat. That is what I hear. Seen a lawyer. So he posted him, and after some days, when he's sitting outside eating with the child, the wife, the uncle, they see two motorbikes coming to his home. So it's the culture at the village that when you see visitors, you just welcome them, give something to eat. Yeah. But AlBERT was a bit shocked that he stopped even eating. Then the dad saw, I think, one more motorbike with like 6 people in the compound. And now, at that very time, they wanted Ojwang. So Ojwang was like, what did I do? Trying to seek clarification that what he did wrong. They told him, utajulia mbele, meaning you'll know as time goes by. So they act shocked. So he was driven to a certain police post. So the dad followed him there. That's according to the story that is on the media. So he followed him there. Then the police officer said, tomorrow he should go to where they are asking him to go. So the boy was driven many kilometers from Nyanza region to Nairobi. Are we together? Yeah. He doesn't know whatever he had done, so he was driven to Nairobi. So in the wee hours of the night, AlBERT calls the dad, and he calls also the wife to tell them tomorrow if they go to Nairobi, they should find him in Central Police Station. Yeah. So the dad was
kijana kufikia mwezi wa 7 atakuwa na miaka 31. Amezaliwa mwezi wa 7 tena tarehe 7 1994.
Na labda mzee ulimuona kuna tabia za aina gani labda?
Kijana, ushuhuda wangu na huyo kijana, yeye ndio anayeweka vitu vyangu. Malindi tumeishi muda mrefu, na hata vitu vyangu ambavyo niliviacha kidogo kwa ajili ya kujistiri kimaisha nilimwacha mkononi mwake, sababu alikuwa mwaminifu. Kijana hata tukiwa naye kwa boma sijawahi kusikia hata huko tulipokaa Malindi akizozana na mtu. Sijawahi kusikia hata mama hata swala la kesi kuenda police station, hata kuhusiana na mambo ya kitambulisho sijawahi kusikia kumhusu kwamba ameshikwa. Nasikitika kwamba amekuwa mhalifu wa kuwekewa pingu tokea nyumbani, tena mikono miwili, kufika station anawekwa kwenye rumu yake peke yake kama mamluki. Amefanya ujinai. Ama amevamia benki. Yote namwachia Mwenyezi Mungu. Kijana alikuwa mwalimu. Hata nyumbani alimekuja tu mwezi mmoja, nafikiri ni miezi miwili. Ameoa juzi. Mke wake ndio hata hajajitambulisha katika mji. Amemwacha hapo nyumbani jana akichukuliwa, watu waliokuwa nakula na mtoto mmoja. Na nia ya yeye kukaa nyumbani, alikuwa anataka mzoeze yule mama mke wake mgeni pale nyumbani ili azoee nyumbani. Ndio arudi Malindi kwa ajili ya biashara yake. So kwa bahati isiyoepukika amejipata katika hali hiyo.
Can you imagine your only son dies, he is killed? And when he explains the story, he says that the son was the only son. So he used to work in a quarry in a certain area in Mombasa for around 20 years so that he could afford the school fees to pay for the child. The child luckily graduated and now he had a job of teaching, and because teaching was not paying him well, he was usually being paid like 18k per month, so it wasn't sustainable for him and his family and for progress of his life. So he opted to start a business of selling charcoal there in Mombasa. So he had gone home and he has stayed for like a month so that the wife can adapt to the village life so that he can live in there and go make a living, trying to make ends meet. So that's how he met his death.
So the people who did it, when they hear this mzee speaking like that, do they feel anything? When Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat, who made a complaint that led to all this, the arrests, the transportation, the torture, and the death of this man, when you see another mzee talking like this and saying, look, you guys even came to my home, you've seen the kind of lifestyle that we lead, you've seen the kind of family that we are, you have seen that I am not as powerful as you are, and my son has been killed. When Eliud Lagat is watching this, what does he feel? Does he have any kind of remorse and feeling, you know what, yeah, I made the complaint, I did not make the order to kill. Or I made the complaint and I didn't care what happens thereafter. But still, does he have any sense to speak to Mzee Ojwang, to Meshach, and tell Meshach, you know what, from the point of I felt wronged and then it ended up this way, I'm sorry?
No sense.
Because Meshach was actually speaking to Eliud Lagat yesterday. He said, what, even if my son had wronged you, was this the way to treat him? It's just...
Did that miss me with that on police force to police service.
Yeah.
And I said, there's nothing that has really changed. You could rebrand every which way. There's nothing that has changed unless the way you do things fundamentally changes. I think we need to interrogate what kind of training that our police officers go through that desensitizes them to human life to this extent, because that is the cause of it. That's the root cause. It's that there is a lack of value for life. There is a looking at people as less than, or just not valuing the sanctity of life, people's rights as a whole. It stems from the culture, but I think it honestly begins from a training problem, and then goes all the way now up the rank as you get into it. I think police are, this is just from speculation from hearing, even the way the training is done is meant to break you, and it's like a chain of command and a rank and file thing, where the person above you is always above you, and you respect them and they don't respect you. And then that comes now outside, where you respect your seniors, you don't respect anybody else being a civilian. You don't respect life, you don't respect the sanctity of law, you don't respect
Mariam, do you know police officers individually? Like, do you have an individual that you know that this is a cop?
Yes.
How are they?
I don't know them outside of like social life. I know I had a relative who was a police officer who was quite a kind gentleman
Right.
in real life. Yeah.
There are very many. You meet a cop. It's a family person. You meet people today that will tell you, my mother, my father is a police officer, right?
Right.
So they have families. They are humans. By the time a human being orders the killing or supervises the killing or conducts the brutal beating of another human being to this level, that person, what is it that they have lost in them? You know, just in case we may be doubting, the lead family pathologist who attended yesterday's postmortem, Dr. Bernard Media, spoke. Let's first of all hear what the pathologist actually saw on the body of AlBERT Ojwang.
Hitting against a blunt substance, a wall, would have a particular pattern, a frontal bleeds. But the bleeds that we found on the scalp, on the skin of the head, was partially spread on all aspects, including the face, the sides of the head, and also the back of the head. When we tie up together with other injuries that are well spread in the body, including the upper limbs and the trunk, then this is unlikely to be self-inflicted injury.
It's unlikely to be self-inflicted, and it's not even likely to be accidentally inflicted, right? It is externally, brutally, deliberately inflicted. Somebody killed Ojwang. It started with a complaint by the Deputy Inspector General of Police. The police were acting. Now, senators spoke yesterday, and some of them were calling for the arrest and prosecution of the DIG, right? Bernard Eliud. And they said that he should be arrested and prosecuted. Leaders across the political divide are condemning the murder of Ojwang, urging the relevant authorities to carry a speedy and thorough probe into it. Now, as members of parliament were speaking, as members of parliament do speak after these kind of things, even the leader of the, well, he's no longer the leader of ODM, Raila Odinga, issued a statement condemning the death of AlBERT Ojwang. He said it was unfortunate that Ojwang joins the horrifying long list of young and defenseless Kenyans whose lives have been cut short in brutal and senseless circumstances at the hands of the police. Nobody knows who gave the orders for Mr. Ojwang to be arrested and ferried all the way to Nairobi, and yet that person should be answering to Kenyans. It cannot be that nobody knows. I mean, it's a very simple. There's a chain of command in the police service.
There is.
So surely, let's just listen to what the leaders were saying and react to that.
And I think now as Kenyans, we are beyond now that generality of being told somebody has been sacked. Give us the name. I mean, I feel very bitter, honestly, Oscar, because it's never worth it. You can't terminate somebody's life because of your own comfort.
It is not enough to ask that the Deputy Inspector General resigns. We want the same speed which we saw when our colleague was killed last month. We want Mr. Eliud Lagat to be arrested so that he can write a statement from a police station for it to be clearer to him that he has a responsibility.
I am mourning someone from my county, someone from the county I represent. Mr. Speaker, I have buried too many young people following the Gen Z protests just 1 year ago. Mr. Speaker, I buried close to 7 young people.
And I agree with colleagues that there are people who are intended to sabotaging President William Ruto government. And is led by the Minister of Interior, who should take and resign, Mr. Speaker.
So we've heard from the leaders. You heard from Dende Nyoro, who was interviewed separately, and then the senators who were speaking in the parliament there. You had Senator Kajwang, you've had Senator Boni Khalwale, just saying this must end, right? Even elsewhere, Millie Odhiambo also spoke, the MP, and she's saying, she and others are saying that we need to have external investigators to come and investigate this. We don't trust IPOA.
IPOA is meant to be an external, independent police oversight authority, leading with the word independent. They're meant to be. If not IPOA, then who? We either empower this body to do its job, or we don't have an IPOA.
Yeah.
That's just my thought. If not IPOA, then who to come and investigate? The police can't investigate themselves. Some people are saying if IPOA is the one investigating, then that's more or less the police investigating the police. Okay, then who? It's up to us to empower IPOA to be able to do their jobs properly, to figure out what does that empowerment look like.
Imagine, Senate Majority Leader Aaron Cheriot said, IPOA lacks the independence to investigate the incident, arguing that it cannot do its job without interference. Last month, they told us that they are investigating those who killed people in Angata Barakoi, and up to date, we still don't know the people, said the Kericho senator. How difficult is it to know who are the officers who went for AlBERT in Homa Bay? Yet, when it was one of us who was killed, we were being given a blow-by-blow explanation of the investigations. Members of Parliament were speaking, but I look at MPs speaking, sometimes I'm like, you people. Yeah. Just...
Umechoka.
Mimi nimechoka.
Honestly,
Nimechoka.
it's incredibly